At 28, my mom, Eleanor, was pushing me to go on a blind date. I was about to buy a watch I liked at a luxury boutique, when a man snatched it away, throwing a black card at me. He called me a loser and claimed to be the assistant to the CEO of Taylor, the very CEO I was supposed to meet for my blind date. I dialed her number. Victoria, your assistant just stole something from me and insulted me. Are you going to do anything about this? Eleanor had praised Victoria to no end before, so I figured this was a good chance to see her competence. If an assistant dared to be so arrogant in public, and she didn't deal with him properly, there would be endless trouble in the future. But to my surprise, an extremely cold voice came from the other end of the line. You don't need to tell me how my assistant is doing. You are too nosy. Before I could say anything else, she hung up. Birds of a feather flocked together. No wonder her assistant dared to be so brazen. Someone was clearly condoning it. Jason, who had witnessed the whole scene, couldn't stop laughing. What a joke. Look at your pathetic self, trying to associate with Ms. Victoria. I usually prefer to keep a low profile, and my clothes are quite ordinary. But that doesn't mean I'd let him bully me. Judging people by their appearance is a cheap shot. I advise you to watch your mouth, or you'll regret it. He was just a petty person who'd had a bit of power go to their head, and I couldn't be bothered to waste any more words on him. I directly pulled a card from my bag, and handed it to the sales associate, telling her to ring up my watch. The sales associate looked at me, then at Jason, hesitating for a long time, not daring to process the payment. Jason laughed even more wildly. You scum. Who are you trying to fool in front of me? This entire mall is owned by the Taylor family. Without my say-so today, you won't even be able to buy a single screw. He snatched the card from my hand, and threw it towards the entrance. You think you can act high and mighty with a cheap card? I don't fall for that. Get out of here. I'd never been talked to so arrogantly in my life. Jason truly ignited an unprecedented rage within me. I reached out, clamped his arm, and dragged him directly to the store entrance. I commanded in a cold voice, pick up my card. Hearing this, the sales associates in the store were all visibly astonished. Oh my God. He's incredibly bold, daring to speak to assistant like that. Assistant is Ms. Victoria's favorite. Offending him is offending Ms. Victoria. Someone tried to reason with me, saying, Sir, if you offend the tailor over a watch, it won't be worth it. Quickly let go of assistant. You should apologize to assistant right now. It's not too late to beg for his forgiveness. Hearing the flattery, Jason yanked his arm free from my grasp, and declared arrogantly, you degenerate. If you kneel before me now, and kowtow a few times, maybe I can consider letting bygones be bygones. Otherwise, just wait for your life to be ruined. I've never seen anything like it. I'd heard that phrase many times, but it was always Eleanor saying it to others. Today, I was being threatened back. A cold smile played on my lips as I looked at him, and said, you are someone acting tough because you have powerful backing. Even wouldn't dare to say she'd ruin my life. Who do you think you are? Who are you calling a dog? Is there a second person barking here? You scum. Jason, exasperated, clenched his fist, and swung it at me. I dodged backward, and he swung at empty air, falling to the ground. Assistant, I said you were a dog, and you immediately demonstrated eating dirt. You really know how to put on a show for me. Jason scrambled up from the ground, pointing at me. You scum. You wait for me. I warned him coldly, if you don't clean up your mouth, I don't mind washing it for you myself. Eleanor had made me learn self-defense skills from various martial arts masters since I was young. Someone like Jason, who was all show and no substance, I could take on 3 of them easily. Jason was stunned by my gaze, stammering and not daring to speak anymore. More and more onlookers gathered, and I had no interest in being made a spectacle of. I bent down, picked up the bank card from the ground, and after going into the store to buy the watch, I prepared to leave, but blocked my path again, preventing me from leaving. After being repeatedly harassing me like this, my last shred of patience vanished, and I raised my foot, intending to kick him aside. Stop right there. A deep female voice came from behind me. Jason immediately ran over, looking full of grievances. Ms. Victoria, what took you so long? He's been bullying me. I turned to look at Victoria, and my eyes lit up. No wonder Eleanor said I'd definitely be satisfied with this blind date. Slim waist, long legs, skin like snow, and most importantly, she looked 7 parts like my favorite idol. For that face, I decided to give her another chance. A smile spread across my face. Ms. Victoria. I'm Ethan. I'm your blind date for today. Your mother must have told you about me, right? Victoria's mother used to be a small employee in my family's subsidiary company. Eleanor recognized her business talent due to her quick mind, and Eleanor supported the Taylor family step by step to reach where they are today. Her gaze swept over me a few times, then she said dismissively, "A 28-year-old aging bachelor, we are not a good match." Her mouth was as if laced with poison, and her words instantly enraged me. How was 28 old? I led a clean life and didn't mess around with relationships. What right did she have to mock me? What did you eat today? Your words are so foul. Didn't your parents teach you manners? Victoria's face immediately darkened. Manners? Do hicks like you even deserve them? I don't care what spell you cast on my mom, but I will absolutely not marry a hick like you. Jason, standing next to her, linked his arm through Victoria's and looked at me disdainfully. Look at how ugly you are. How could you ever be worthy of our beautiful and intelligent Ms. Victoria? The surrounding crowd immediately started to chime in with flattery. Look at his outfit. Is it even worth over $100? And he wants to marry Ms. Victoria. He's just daydreaming. Victoria has both looks and family background. She could have any man she wants. Why would she marry him? Just the fantasy of an aging bachelor. Someone needs to snap him back to reality. I considered myself quite handsome, certainly not as dashing as Chris, but still good-looking. How had I been degraded so much in their mouths? Indeed, this world truly favored women. Even if you were willing to marry, I wouldn't marry you. Go back and tell your mom that I look down on you. Not only did I look down on her, but I was also going back to complain about her to Aunt, so she could severely punish this idiot. Too lazy to bother with this scoundrel and his mistress any longer, I turned to leave, but reached out and snatched the watch I had just bought. You scum. You can leave, but you have to leave the watch. Oh, so this was outright robbery, was it? I grabbed Jason's arm and squeezed hard. He cried out in pain, losing his grip, and the watch returned to my hand. Only things I don't want are left behind. No one has ever been able to steal anything from me. Jason looked at Victoria, full of grievance. Ms. Victoria, this degenerate is humiliating me. You have to stand up for me. I backhanded him across the face. If I hear the word degenerate again, I'll smash your mouth in. Some people just don't learn until they are taught a lesson. Jason was stunned by the hit. Then he hid behind Victoria, tears gushing out like a faucet. Victoria lovingly pulled him into her embrace, looking at me furiously. How dare you lay a hand on my man? I'm going to teach you a good lesson today. She spoke in a low voice to the bodyguards behind her. Go get him, take this lunatic down. My fighting skills were good, but 2 fists couldn't contend with 4 hands. Soon, Victoria's bodyguards had me subdued. Jason, acting tough because he had powerful backing, stepped forward and slapped me twice. My cheeks quickly swelled and turned red, and fresh blood seeped from the corners of my mouth. He flexed his wrist and said, "You degenerate. You just hit me once, and now I'm going to pay you back 100-fold. The surrounding crowd instantly looked at me with pity. With 100 slaps, his face will probably be ruined. What a shame. Such a handsome young man will become an ugly monster now. We warned him not to offend assistant, but he wouldn't listen. Now he's getting what he deserves. Discretion is the better part of valor. I was afraid that this lunatic Jason might do something irreversible to me, so I quickly said, I'll give you the watch. It's yours. Jason slapped me again across the face. You really are spineless. But now a watch alone won't satisfy my anger. I endured the sharp pain in my cheek, and said, I'm willing to pay as much as you want, just let me go. Jason asked for an exorbitant amount. Fine. If you can come up with 100 million, I'll let you go today. I immediately agreed. I can. I'll call someone to bring the money right away. Victoria scoffed. You are quite the liar. There are very few people in Metropolis who can produce 100 million in cash. Who are you trying to impress? I suppressed my anger and said, 10 minutes. If the money isn't here in 10 minutes, you can do whatever you want with me. All right, 10 minutes then. Jason took out his phone to start a timer and looked at the crowd. You all heard what this degenerate just said. If he can't produce 100 million in 10 minutes, I'll strip him naked in front of everyone for entertainment. Amidst the crowd's jeers, I finally got my phone back and quickly dialed Eleanor's number. Ethan, how was it? Are you satisfied with the blind date this time? Hearing's voice, my eyes welled up instantly, and I choked out, Mom, your precious son got beaten. What? Who dares to touch my son? Do they have a death wish? I quickly recounted what had just happened to Eleanor, keeping it brief. Mom, he said if he doesn't see 100 million within 10 minutes, he'll disfigure me, strip me, and throw me on the street. Eleanor's enraged voice came through the phone. This is outrageous. Ethan, wait for me. I'm sending people over right away. After hanging up, the weight in my heart finally lifted. I would be safe once Eleanor's people arrived. Jason watched the countdown on his phone, seconds ticking by. With only 10 seconds left, he looked at me with a mocking gaze. Time's almost up. If you are smart, you'll take off your clothes yourself. As soon as he finished speaking, dozens of trucks drove majestically and stopped in front of the mall. The leading truck driver got out and shouted, 100 million in cash delivered. The shoppers in the mall were astonished, their eyes turning to me in unison. Oh my God. What is his background? He actually managed to gather 100 million in cash in such a short time. He's truly discreet. He dresses so ordinarily, yet he can produce 100 million, just like that. This must be fake. I couldn't even gather Monopoly money that fast. The leading driver was Uncle Eleanor's confidant. He slowly walked toward me, followed by 10 well-built enforcers. Victoria's 2 bodyguards were instantly intimidated by their presence, and instinctively let go of me. Uncle walked up to me, and respectfully said, Young Ethan, Eleanor is currently flying in and asked me to come ahead and handle things for you. I nodded, and turned to Jason. I'm a man of my word. The 100 million you asked for is here. Go ahead and count it. Jason was still slow to react, not fully grasping his predicament. He looked at me with disbelief and said, Don't try to fool me. I don't believe you could really get 100 million in cash in such a short time. These people are just hired actors, and the trucks must be empty. I took the handkerchief Uncle offered and wiped the blood from the corner of my mouth. Then check for yourself right now. I looked at the row of drivers outside the mall and instructed, Open your truck beds, and let him see. The drivers opened their truck beds, revealing stacks of crisp bills neatly arranged inside, instantly dazzling everyone's eyes. Holy cow, that's the smell of money. What kind of family power does someone have to be able to produce 100 million in cash? Assistant has certainly bit off more than he could chew this time. Jason's eyes were fixed on the stacks of bills. He ran to a truck bed, picked up a stack, confirmed it was real, and became deliriously excited. I'm rich this time. From now on, I'm a billionaire. Victoria looked at me with a complex expression. Ethan, who exactly are you? I ignored her and walked directly to Jason. I slapped you once, and now I'm compensating you with 100 million. Are you satisfied? Jason nodded eagerly. Satisfied. I'm very satisfied with how this was resolved. A slight smile played on my lips. Since you are satisfied, now it's my turn. You stole my watch and slapped me 3 times. By that standard, asking for 300 million from you isn't too much, is it? Jason's eyes widened instantly. 300 million. You are not getting a cent from me. My gaze fixed on him, and my voice turned cold. If you don't want to pay, that's fine. Then, just as you said earlier, after being slapped 300 times, you can strip your clothes off and parade around the mall. Assistant, choose one of the two. Jason tried to run when he saw the situation was going south, but he was instantly apprehended by the enforcers Uncle had arranged. I reached out and squeezed his jaw. Since you are not talking, I'll make the choice for you. You don't look like someone who can come up with 300 million, so let's go with the physical repayment. With that, I started slapping him from both sides. Jason screamed repeatedly as I hit him, frantically calling out, Ms. Victoria, save me. Quick, save me. Victoria ran over and stood in front of Jason. Assistant slapped you 3 times, and now you've hit him back. You two are even. This ends here. I couldn't help but smile at her. Jason provoked and insulted me first, then stole my watch and hit me afterward. I haven't even released my anger yet. Who do you think you are to tell me what to do? Why should I listen to you? Victoria's face darkened, and she warned me in a low voice, Ethan, I'm willing to reconcile with you, which is already me being generous. Don't push your luck. You need to consider if you can bear the consequences of offending the tailor. I laughed. That's what I should be telling you. If you offend me, Not just you, but the entire tailor behind you won't be able to bear it. Now, get out of my way. After I deal with this scoundrel, I'll come for you." Hearing my words, the onlookers were astonished. Who is this man? He dares to say that even the tailor can't afford to offend him. The group is one of the fastest growing companies in Metropolis in recent years. There are only a few that are better than them. Is he perhaps young Sterling? No, I've seen young Sterling. He doesn't look like that at all. Then who is he? Everyone made various guesses about my identity, but then ruled them out. It wasn't their fault. Although my family was the wealthiest in Metropolis, after I grew up, I realized that being the wealthiest person was too attention-grabbing. I constantly advised Eleanor to keep our wealth hidden and stay behind the scenes. My family's title of wealthiest was then taken by the general managers of our subsidiary companies. When heard that my identity was ruled out from the top-ranking families in Metropolis, she felt emboldened. Thinking I was just bluffing, she protected Jason even more assertively. "Don't talk big. Even if you have some background, it can't possibly be stronger than our tailor. I'm telling you the truth. Jason is my boyfriend, the future son-in-law of the tailor. If you dare to lay another finger on him today, I will make sure you regret it, even if it means risking the tailor." Jason, with his swollen face, was overjoyed to hear Victoria acknowledge their relationship in front of everyone. Because his parents disliked him, their relationship had always been kept secret. He never expected this misfortune to turn into a blessing. With his status finally confirmed, he immediately regained his confidence and roared at me, "You degenerate. Did you hear that? I'm the future son-in-law of the tailor. If you dare touch a hair on my head again, I'll make sure you regret it." Victoria truly wasted her good looks by falling for such a stupid and opportunistic, kept man. I slapped him again. "Sarah, the chairman of Taylor, doesn't dare to be so arrogant in front of me. Who do you think you are? Today, I'll show you what there's always someone bigger and better means." I took out my phone, and, right in front of them, dialed Sarah's number. The phone rang a few times before it was answered, and Sarah's slightly fawning voice came through the phone. "Young Ethan, how was the blind date with my daughter?" I got straight to the point. "Sarah, your daughter has been dating her assistant for 2.5 years, and you still introduced her to me. What are you playing at?" "Misunderstanding. This is absolutely a misunderstanding. I didn't know about this. Please wait. I'll call her immediately to clarify." "No need. She's right next to me, and even said she'd risk the tailor to get even with me. You can talk to her." I handed the phone to Victoria. Sarah immediately roared, "You scoundrel. Quickly kneel down and apologize to Mr. Ethan. And that assistant of yours, fire him immediately." Being yelled at by her mother in front of everyone made Victoria lose face, and her rebellious streak instantly flared up. "Mom, I truly don't know what spell this man cast on you to make you side with him so much. Anyway, I won't apologize. And I've been with him for 2.5 years. You'll have to accept him as your son-in-law, whether you like it or not. You unfilial daughter, are you trying to drive me to my grave? I'm coming over right now to knock some sense into you, you good for nothing. You don't need to worry about this. I'll handle it myself." With a snap, Victoria hung up the phone. She looked at me with a fierce expression. "Ethan, I don't care what methods you used to manipulate my mom, but I'm telling you, I'm not falling for it. Today, it doesn't matter who you bring." I calmly put my phone away. "Then I won't bring anyone. I'll deal with you both in my own way." I spoke in a deep voice, giving an order to the crowd. "Strips clothes off and throw him onto the street." Someone immediately stepped forward and tore off Jason's clothes. He completely panicked, desperately trying to cover himself with his hands, crying out to Victoria for help. Victoria stepped forward but was quickly restrained by my people, unable to move. She could only watch helplessly as Jason was stripped naked, and surrounded by onlookers. Many curious spectators took out their phones to take compromising photos. "Wow, assistant has a great physique, especially that part. No wonder he has Ms." Victoria wrapped around his finger. Someone even stepped forward and touched him, then chuckled. "Today, I got a taste of what it's like to be Ms. Victoria." Some, overly sympathetic, began to criticize me. Assistant was stripped naked in front of everyone today, and the compromising photos are everywhere. How will he live after this? This is too cruel. We are all men. Is there a need to be so ruthless? Hearing their discussions, I felt no softening. If my people hadn't arrived in time, it would have been me stripped and abandoned there. After dealing with Jason, I turned and walked toward the restrained Victoria, kicking her in the knee. "Victoria, Tell me, how should I deal with you now? She stumbled from the kick, glaring at me fiercely. You scum, I will never let you get away with this. A faint smile played on my lips. I don't know whether to call you slow or just plain stupid. Can't you see the situation clearly even now? I'm in control now, and you are at my mercy. I decide whether to kill or torture. With that, I slapped her across the face. To be honest, facing a face that so perfectly matched my image of a goddess, I really hesitated to strike, but the moment I thought of how she had just condoned Jason's bullying, the anger in my heart instantly flared up again. Forget it. A face that cannot be used for my purposes is a waste anyway. Victoria had been pampered since childhood, and as her mother's business grew, her status also rose. Surrounded by flatterers, no one had ever dared to hit her like this. Her eyes filled with intense hatred as she spat out a threat. You dare to hit me? When my mom arrives, I'll make sure you end up ruined. Speak of the devil, a multi-million-dollar Lincoln sedan pulled up in front of the mall. Sarah, dressed in a sharp women's suit, got out of the car. Looking very capable, the scene instantly erupted in a clamor. Is that the CEO of Taylor? She truly has an extraordinary presence. She's incredible. I heard she started from humble beginnings to reach her current status. Just like her daughter, young Victoria just got hit, and the CEO rushed over to back her up. Seeing Victoria immediately struggled and shouted, "Mom, I'm here. Quick, save me." Sarah walked furiously toward Victoria. Victoria, beaten black and blue, didn't even have time to wipe her tears before starting to complain. Mom, this degenerate hit me and humiliated me in public. Quickly avenge me. I want to ruin her life. But before she could finish, Sarah cut her off with a slap. You scoundrel, get down on your knees and apologize to young Ethan. Victoria was stunned by the hit. Then she roared, Mom, have you gone senile? He hit me, and not only do you not defend me, but you tell me to kneel and apologize. Sarah kicked Victoria in the back of the knee, forcing her to her knees. She bowed, her face showing a fawning smile as she looked at me. Young Ethan, it's all because I failed as a parent that she did such a foolish thing. Please be lenient. I raised my hand and patted her shoulder. Aunt, you haven't forgotten how you went from a small employee to your current position, supported by my mother step by step, have you? Sarah immediately bowed obsequiously. Never, never. Ms. Eleanor's great kindness to me, I will remember for the rest of my life. Watching this scene unfold, Victoria finally came to her senses, realizing she had truly provoked the wrong person. She asked, unwilling to give up, Mom, who exactly is he? Sarah slapped Victoria on the head again. You little beast, you've really caused big trouble. You dared to offend the son of Ms. Eleanor, the former wealthiest person in Metropolis. Victoria's voice trembled slightly. Ms. Eleanor, he's Ms. Eleanor's son. Although Eleanor was referred to as the former wealthiest person, anyone with inside knowledge knew that she had merely chosen to move from the front lines to behind the scenes. All the prominent businesses in Metropolis had investments and shares from Ms. Eleanor, and the Emerald held a large stake in their Taylor. I went through so much trouble to get you this blind date opportunity, and not only did you not make a good impression, but you dared to insult and assault young Ethan. I think you truly have a death wish. The defiance in Victoria completely dissipated. She looked at me with fear. I didn't know. I truly didn't know. Please, young Ethan, please be lenient and forgive me this one time. I glanced at her, saying disdainfully, you are apologizing now not because you've repented, but because you know my identity and you are scared. If there was an ordinary person here today, would they just have been bullied by you for nothing? The surrounding crowd agreed wholeheartedly. Exactly. She's cowardly and opportunistic, not truly repentant. Look at how arrogant they were when they first stole the watch, truly acting like a local tyrant. Today, they bit off more than they could chew, and it's their karma. Mr. Ethan, don't let them off. You must punish her properly so she never dares to act tough because she has powerful backing again. Hearing more and more people clamoring for Victoria to be punished, Sarah panicked, afraid that I would actually listen to them, and immediately pleaded, young Ethan, this unfilial daughter was disrespectful and angered you. When we go back, I will definitely punish her severely. I beg you, for my sake, spare her this time. Aunt, I've never been pointed at and cursed by someone in my life, nor has anyone ever laid a finger on me. If I let her go just like that today, I simply can't swallow this anger. Sarah knew there was no turning back. She took a deep breath and asked, then, young Ethan, How do you intend to deal with them? My gaze lingered on Victoria and Jason for a few moments. Then I said, since they enjoy acting tough because they have powerful backing so much, then let them be ordinary people, with no power at all. I want you to disown Victoria, and cut all ties with her from now on. Victoria immediately became agitated. She had been accustomed to a life of luxury since childhood and couldn't imagine living a life of hardship, like ordinary people. Mom, I'm your only daughter. If you cut ties with me, who will inherit the family business in the future? Sarah looked hesitant and wanted to plead again. I said coldly, to inherit a family business, you first need a family business to inherit. Aunt Eleanor will be here soon. Given her personality, do you think Victoria will even be left in one piece? I understand, young Ethan. I will immediately issue an internal company announcement disowning Victoria. I nodded and added, by the way, Aunt, since Victoria and assistant are truly in love, you shouldn't interfere in their affairs anymore. Let them be a doomed couple. Love without money is like a pile of sand. Once loses her status as Ms. Victoria, I'd like to see how long they last. The watch eventually returned to my hand, and I returned home under Uncle's escort. Eleanor flew back overnight, and upon seeing the wound on my face, she wanted to slaughter Victoria and Jason on the spot. I held Eleanor's arm and said gently, Mom, I'm fine, I've already gotten my revenge. Eleanor huffed, I can agree to anything else you want, but not this. You are my precious son, raised in the palm of my hand. I never even scolded you once growing up, and they dared to hit and curse you. I'm definitely going to get them. I deliberately put on a stern face and said, if you get them now, you'll just be giving them a quick end. Don't you know I prefer slow, painful torment? Victoria went from being Ms. Victoria, flattered by everyone, to a down-and-out who everyone scolds overnight. This drastic change in status will definitely create a huge mental gap for her, and she will definitely blame all of this on Jason. Won't it be more interesting to watch them torment and destroy each other then? Seeing my stern face, Eleanor finally compromised. All right, I'll agree to everything you say. You can deal with them however you want, but there's one thing you must listen to me on. From now on, you must take the bodyguards I arrange for you when you go out. Once is enough for something like this. If it happens again, how will I face your late father? As the wealthiest person, it was inevitable to encounter criminals. My father died in a brake failure accident. At the time, I was less than a year old and was in the same car as my father. It was my father who protected me tightly with his body, shielding me from all harm, which allowed me to survive. My father was the man Eleanor loved most in her life. After he died, Eleanor never sought another partner, raising me alone, acting as both father and mother. She was always afraid that she hadn't taken good care of me and would be ashamed to face my father in the afterlife. Thinking of my father, I couldn't help but feel a little sad. I reached out and hugged Eleanor. I promise you, I will protect myself from now on and never be hurt again. Regarding and Jason, I received periodic reports on their miserable state. After being kicked out of the company, they were penniless and could only live in a cheap basement apartment, struggling even for daily meals. Victoria, accustomed to being a young lady, tried to find work twice but failed, so she simply gave up and let Jason support her. Jason worked 2 jobs daily to support Victoria. Initially, he firmly believed that Victoria being kicked out was just a show, and since she was Sarah's only daughter, she would surely be called back soon. He just needed to endure this difficult period, and the position of the Taylor family's son-in-law would surely still be his. But after 3 months of working tirelessly like a horse, he found no sign of Sarah trying to contact Victoria. Upon inquiring, he learned that Sarah had another illegitimate child. After cutting ties with Victoria, she quickly brought her illegitimate son home and began grooming him as an heir. Seeing that Victoria had become a useless pawn, who couldn't give him the life he wanted and was constantly draining him dry, Jason decisively abandoned Victoria and got together with an old woman nearing 60. Victoria was furious and confronted him. Jason, you heartless scoundrel, I'm in this state because of you, and now you dare to abandon me. Jason simply laid it all out for her. I went to great lengths to seduce you back then only because you were the CEO of Taylor, and you could give me a lavish life. But now you are like an unwanted dead fish, eating and drinking at my place all day. I'm not your mother, why should I be supporting you? The two of them had a bitter argument after their fallout. Victoria accidentally pushed Jason from the 2nd floor, causing him to fall to his death. She herself was sentenced to life imprisonment for involuntary manslaughter. After hearing this news, I told them that they no longer needed to report anything about Victoria to me. Her miserable life in prison no longer concerned me.